Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today I will present to you my TMG project for the DPBO class. And before I start, I would like to recite my promise to do the task without any cheating in Indonesia. Jadi saya Zakiyah Hasanah dengan NIM 2305274 mengerjakan tugas masa depan dalam mata kuliah Desain Pemrograman Berbasis Objek untuk kelulusannya, maka saya tidak melakukan kecurangan seperti yang telah dispesifikasikan. Alright, I will begin by explaining the framework that I use. As you can see here, I'm using the MVP architecture. All the MVP architectures are then controlled by the main.java file. In this file, it imports all the presenters and specifically the database model and the mainframe. I will explain further why only those and how is it used. Alright, so here we have the main function, right? And first we will try to set the UI, test the systems, and then the important part is this. First, we initialize the database model. And here we have a little bit of error handling. And after that, we make the mainframe. This is to make the game frame, the frame that holds everything inside. And then after the mainframe is made, here we initialize the presenters, which is the main menu presenter and the game screen presenter. And here we do it after the mainframe because to initialize those presenters, we need the database model and the mainframe. The main menu panel and game panel. This is the reason why it has to be called after. And then after that, we see that we need to add to actually not add but set the game presenter and the menu presenter. So what this means is that the mainframe can access presenter and presenter can also access the mainframe. This is the main file that controls everything. As for the MVP architecture, here I will first explain from the models, from one of the simplest classes, but it's important. So here I have the game object model, and I made this model because in my game there is the player object, there is also the collectible object, and last but not least, there's also the lasso game object. And so this game object is the base for all objects that move around, that has position, has rotation, has costumes, if there's animation, etc. This is the basic, like there's literally anything. Oh, and by the way, I would like to highlight this part because in my game logic, this will be used a lot. Okay. It basically just compares two rectangles and see if they overlap, I mean, like, intersects. That's for the game object. And so the game object is used by the lasso. Yeah. So the lasso class inherits game object, same with player, same with player here, and also with enemy right here. Alright, that's for the game object model. And after that, I would like to explain the game model. The game model is where we basically handle everything. It handles all the game objects that are currently in the game and all the collectibles that are active, to the player, enemy, lasso, game timer, camera. Right, and to add it up, there's actually a fancy listener here that is used only in here. It listens to everything such as on score change, on life change, if game over, if collectible is collected, if they got hit, and when time got changed. It handles everything. You can see here on the list of functions and a lot of getters too. That's for the game model. And then here comes the mastermind of that model, which is the game loop manager. So this game loop manager basically manages three things. One of them being game model, the one that I explained earlier. And after that, the audio manager, where it plays background music in loop throughout all the entire application running. And the animation thread. So it handles those three. Alright. After this, I would like to explain the animation. So for the animation here, I made a class that extends the Java thread class, and we basically have only three things. Where one first thing is list of game objects. This is the list of game objects that needs animation, and we have a boolean if it's running or not. So it controls if the animation is like going or stopping. And then we have animation delay. This is useful because if we have animation all over the place and we want to adjust the delay, then everything is changed with just this one variable here in the initialization. Alright, next up, I would like to explain the audio manager. So for the audio manager, I use Java X sound template. It's for audio playback, and in this class there are two main variables here. Where there is the clip of the background music and a boolean if whether or not the music is playing. Alright, and here we have the initialization, which basically doesn't really do anything. And we have a function to play the background music. It loads the file first, and then we get the audio input stream. We set the background music, open it, and then loop it and start it. And then we indicate that the music is playing. It's basically that simple for playing the background music. And here we have stop background music. We just call background music clip. Remember the one that we made here? Yeah, this clip, and so on. We have pause, resume, even though these are not actually used in the application. And there's also set volume and to check if the music is playing and clean up. That's it. For the audio manager, that's it. Next up, there's the two presenters. There's the main menu. Alright, for those presenters, I would like to explain them while I run the game. Let's run the game by using. So I use Java compile, where the class path is here, and the directory for the output is in out here, as you can see. And then the compiled files are in these folders, in models, views, presenters, and in parent. And after all that is compiled, I run Java with the class path, and the class path is here. And we call the main function. Let's go. So, alright. So in this game, in the main page, in the main menu, we have the leaderboard of all the previous users that have played with the username, total score, and total plays. For the plate guide, here we have the guide of all the collectibles, and each has their own name, their own score, their own time bonus because the game has a timer and it can increase the timer or decrease it depending on the item. And there's also the weight of each of them. So the heavier it is, the heavier they are, they will be more harder to pull, more heavier. We will demonstrate. So in this game, there are two ways to lose. The first way is by losing all the hearts because you touch the box enemy for 3 times, like this. And the other way of losing is by running out of time. Here I will make the time run out faster by grabbing one of the heavy plates. Yeah, so that's for the death mechanism. And then I will further explain, like for some other plates, it's lighter. Yeah, that plate was so light, and this one is a bit heavy. That one is as well. And this one decreases the time. And I would like to explain more on the game over screen because there are some numbers that I would like to show. Let's make this faster. Alright, in the game over screen, we have the score of the current session, which is the same as the one on the upper left, and the plates collected as well. And there's also the total score that is cumulatively summed and total plays as well. And after that, the user has two options, whether to replay as the same username or to return to the main menu. That should wrap up my demonstration for this game that I made. Now we will proceed to the credits. So for this game or application, I developed it entirely, and I have my special thanks to my teacher, Rosa Alian Yusufuntung. I appreciate her a lot. She motivated me, and I really enjoy making this project. And as for the assets that I used, is here I have some sprites that I used for the food, sprites for the characters, the map, the conveyor belt, the background music, and the font. You can go back to menu just like that. and that finalizes my presentation. Thank you. I hope you enjoy. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.